that's a tremendous looking trophy.
Tom's are like little fucking spastic monkey claps that he does.
Kiwi
I'm
claps.
going to buy one.
Kiwi claps. Doesn't know how to form hands properly. That's my.
I just
$9
spat on my
an
fucking
eBay.
computer screen.
Tom's
my
taking
biggest problem.
he's taking the penguin mascot too far. Okay, like the little penguin arms, just come on, get it together.
Oh dear.
And on that note, welcome to the #1 PlayStation podcast in the Oceanas. It is Platinum Explosion. Today, Jack Cruz is here.
Plat.
Nicholas Price here.
It's your boy.
With John O'Sane. Yeah, see, I fucking knew it. And we're also joined by special guest, Buddy Watson from Review Culture.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, thank you. Sit down, people. I'm not worthy of your applause.
Welcome to our humble podcast.
Thank you.
Well, you're the first special guest on this one, and you're better than NATO. So
Much better than
fuck
NATO.
that guy.
Can confirm.
How many Yank friends do you have?
Hashtag better than NATO. Okay.
Hashtag better than NATO.
At least Jono's not trying to steal your spot.
Well, yet. Wait until he tries to steal your
Oh my
podcast.
God.
Give him time. He'll find a way.
You never know. He's always onto it. So, I got two things to jump off. We got the biggest news of the week, probably Far Cry 5.
It's Gwent.
Which me and Nick did a review reaction thingy for. You can watch that on you Google for it. I don't know.
We don't have a URL
I
yet.
need 100 subscribers to that YouTube channel as well. Fuck me. Jack, you've been pumped all week. Though. You wanted to be on the review react show, but didn't understand how reaction shows work.
I fucked that one up. Yeah. I went early.
So
I got excited.
we'll just lead off with you.
Yeah.
You've been amped. Talk why you've been pumped.
Oh, I love Far Cry. Like I really do. It's probably, considering you can consider Uncharted as far as main, entries in the series to be finished. I don't count Last of Us yet because it hasn't got, the sequel hasn't come out yet, and Metal Gear is pretty much dead. So Far Cry is like my favorite franchise out there at the moment.
Have you played all of them?
I haven't played the first one, but I've played all the others.
Which one's your favourite?
Which is your favourite?
Far Cry 3 is my favourite. It's actually number 8 on the all-time favourite games list.
Once again, pointing out the fact that isn't actually an official list,
That
not
is-
a made-up number.
No, that is the official number for Far Cry 3. And I loved my time with that game so much. Like it was the first game I ever played with a surround sound headset. And I remember sitting there and just being like sneaking through the grass and hearing like footsteps over like my back shoulder, like my left shoulder, and I turn around and be like, "Fucking, there's a dude there!" And it was just an awesome experience from start to finish. And Far Cry 4 was fine. I enjoyed it. I platinumed
Didn't
it.
finish it.
It was a good game. It was more like the gameplay is what does Far Cry for me. The clearing outposts, finding collectibles, killing motherfuckers with shotguns and fucking sniper rifles and crossbows and fucking bow and arrow, and it's just the myriad ways that you can just decimate camps of bad dudes is just awesome.
My biggest problem with 4 was that the gameplay was great. It was more 3, just improved and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I found the setting and the bad guy and the overall plot kind of boring as all fuck.
Forgettable as fuck, yeah. So Pagan Min was awesome, but he was very, very underused. And there was a really cool sort of under subplot kind of thing going on with like his dad and stuff like that, but they just didn't get into it enough. Whereas for me, Far Cry 3's story was a little bit more realised. And the bad dudes were a lot more memorable and were a lot more like Vaas is probably like one of my favourite villains. He'd be in the top 5 favourite villains.
You know what the funniest thing about that is? Like Vaas, everyone remembers Vaas as being like
he wasn't
Far
even
Cry 3's villain.
yeah.
He wasn't even the main bad guy.
No, it was the other dude. But even he, I can't even remember what that guy's name was. But even he was because you get like halfway through. Oh, I mean, Pingu for spoilers for Is it, Buddy? Have you played Far Cry 3? Has everyone played Far Cry 3 here?
I haven't played a Far Cry game, but I know.
Him off.
I've committed.
Why don't invite him on?
It's the only one worth playing.
Listen. I'm not going back to play any of these, and Far Cry hasn't really appealed to me at that time of gaming where I was at the time. And I think you pointed out before, like the you weren't feeling Far Cry 4 at some point, Dylan. I think they've all been set on islands or whatever, and I just never got into that. But I'm actually, as someone who hasn't played, I'm really excited for the new one. And like I think that it's because of the setting. So
Nothing like killing racists.
that's right.
Amen to
Yeah,
that.
I'm coming for you,
Amen to
Trump.
that.
I'm coming for you.
Yeah, but no, you're right. 4 was forgettable as far as the story goes, but the gameplay was more of the gameplay. Like it was more just, and that's what makes Far Cry special. I like Far Cry 3 even gets a lot of shit for its story, but I thought it was fine. Like I liked the character. I could sort of not relate to him because he was a bit of a douchebag at the start, but young guy kind of thing, like, you know, sort of similar age and whatever to me, and he's just trying to save his friends from a fucking crazy dude on an island, and it sort of just
I think
kicked
3's
along.
way better than 4. Do you know Diant Wood, buddy?
Yeah, man,
Yes.
I fucking love Diant Wood.
All right, so you need to play 3 for. There's one scene in Far Cry 3 where a Diant Wood song's playing in this place, and you go through it with a fucking flamethrower, and it's the fucking one of the best scenes in a game ever.
It is one of the best. Yeah,
I started playing it, and I'm
like,
like, I've never heard Diant Wood in a fucking video game before. This is awesome.
As soon as you said Diant Wood, I was like, you want to be like Daddy Chappie?
Yeah. So good.
but yeah, but I'm jazzed.
I think 5 looks like it looks way more interesting. I think it looks the most interesting since 2 because 2 wasn't set on an island. 3 and 3
like
and
African,
4 were both
it's like
set
Africa.
on
Central Africa.
2 was in Africa.
Yeah.
And 2's my favorite along with Nick. And 2's 2 doesn't have the strongest gameplay of any of the series, doesn't have the strongest plot as far as I'm concerned, but overall as a package, I think it's probably the best one, and I just like the setting and all that stuff the most. Why do you like 2 the most, Nick? Like, explain.
2 is... It's not so much as a power fantasy as the other 2 are. You're more brought back down to earth, and you're not... All your weapons break down,
It's a lot
and you have to
harder.
fight to survive, and you have
Yeah, it
to
is
fight
hard,
off
isn't it?
malaria and all that kind of stuff.
And the guns
I'm
jam.
hoping
You're in the middle of a firefight.
Exactly,
and the fucking
they break
gun
down.
jam
and
up.
They're all because they're all in Central Africa. They're like really old weapons and whatnot. Beaten
This sounds like a horror. This sounds like a horror game.
It is in a little.
At
In
times,
some ways,
yeah.
it is, and it doesn't have any of that crafting stuff either, which I think.
Yeah.
And none of the
detracted
RPG
from-
elements that were introduced in 3.
Yeah, I'm hoping 5 brings it back towards that, where it's not so much as you just pick up all the guns and go shooting everybody, where it's more grounded in a way.
I think they're just based on the trailer. I think that there will be some form of that, at least hunting, because they sort of hint at it with the dude with the rifle in the woods, like aiming at the deer. So I think there'll definitely be some form of hunting. Plus, you've got bears and shit. Like America's got some animals,
America's got guns,
raccoons and
animals.
whatnot.
Can you imagine if they did Far Cry Australia? Like, oh, look at this. Oh, little
Honestly,
bit of a spider here. Just like, oh, this spider's nothing. You're like, get fucked, mate.
Well, anything's up
Fucking
for
alligator comes in, crocodile
Alligator.
comes and snaps you up. I honestly thought they were going to do Far Cry Australia. Like, I honestly thought that was going to be the next thing because they did a poll like, oh god, probably a year and a half ago. It's like, where do you want the next Far Cry to be? And it was just before they released Primal. And they're like, where do you want the next Far Cry to be? And there was options of like Australia, America, and I'm pretty sure Australia was like right up the top. So I
You
honestly,
know where they'll set it? They'd set it out
in the outback, yeah.
in the outback,
like Alice
yeah.
Springs or something like
Which
that.
will
No,
make it
no,
it'd be like
very
Wolf
similar to
Creek.
2.
Yeah, which you
No,
could do.
yeah.
You could make it like, you know, because you'd have like that, you know, the indigenous tribes, and then you'd have like, you know, your crazy
Like
Wolf
that
Creek
guy down a
motherfuckers
tree.
out there.
Yeah, I was about to say that will not work out very well at all.
Yeah, they'd have to do it. They'd have to do it
There's-
tactfully. They'd have to be tactful.
There's no way they can do that tactfully. Okay.
Yeah, no, you can't.
No, you're right.
You can't have some guy just charging at you.
No, I don't mean like. Sorry, I should
Have
have.
them goods out there.
Oh,
Oh wow.
okay. Cool. Alrighty. No, I didn't mean like traditional
Press
like
X to
indigenous
boo.
tribes. I meant like.
Referendum
You know.
is a side mission.
Anyway, let's. Just
I know
drop
what
this
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Referendum is a side mission.
At least there's no. If they do set it in the outback, at least there's no risk of being killed by a stingray out there. So I think that's one positive. So
There
Rest
was
in peace,
one
Steve
interesting
Rest
tidbit
in
I
peace.
read about Far Cry 5 is the other Far Cries you play as a character and you play their story, but in this one you customize your own character. Does that affect?
Yeah, it can be
see-
a guy or a girl from the get-go.
Yeah, and customize
Stuff
it
like
in
that.
ways.
Yeah. See, I think that's why I enjoyed Far Cry 3 and 4 to an extent, because you were a character and you were playing that story. Whereas Far Cry 2, I remember at Far Cry 2 when it started, you had to pick. You're like, oh, you can be this one or that one. From what I remember, it didn't really have any bearing on the story. It was just a random avatar. Like,
No,
you
whichever
pick.
character you pick, the other characters show up in the story.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. So, yeah, I like playing. I'd prefer to be playing as a character, being sort of. I like that you're sort of a vulnerable. Like same with 3 and 4. You're this dude who has no idea about gunplay or anything. You're just a vulnerable human being, and you get thrown into the deep end, and you got to
turns
fucking
into
fend
a
for yourself.
Superman.
Yeah, and by the end of it, you're a fucking killing machine, and it's sort of, especially with 3, it was really cool in the way that the character developed through the game. He sort of started off as this like freaked out douchebag sort of dude, and he was just like, I just want to save my friends and my brother. And then by the end of it, he was like mentally like scarred and all fucked up and didn't know what he was doing. And
It's funny you say that because a lot of the major criticism about 3 is that how he's just some college frat guy, and in the end he turns into Rambo. That it's not believable.
I think it was believable for me. It was like his character development was really good. There was some things like my criticism of it would be there was a few things that they could have really probably gone a little bit deeper on, like some events in the game, certain things that were happening to the side characters who he was rescuing, like traumatic sort of things, and they kind of just skipped over it once the mission was ended, and they a little bit of extra, just sort of going a little bit deeper on these full-on things that were happening would have been nice. But I thought he developed really nicely as a character, and I really liked all of the side characters in that game as well.
I suppose it's a similar thing to what the criticism Tomb Raider got, where she's mentally scarred and beaten down and whatnot, and then when the cutscene ends, you just go back to killing hundreds of guys.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
They tried.
Yeah.
They did try to like make an issue out of that. So why is this one interest you? Like, is it the setting, the story? Is it just the shooting racist or?
It's shooting racist. Clearly, you got to remember I'm from Queensland, so we don't really like being associated with Pauline Hanson. It's one of those faux pas. Like we're not all one nation, okay? We do like.
Oh, you didn't vote for her? I just assume he's all did. Up there, no?
Nah, mate, nah. Just,
Someone fucking did.
Enough people did, that's for sure.
I know, and it's scary because they walk among us. But I think I'm quite. I think I'm kind of with what you said before, Nick. Like how you enjoyed the other Far Cry 2. That was like a bit more, a bit more grounded, and that like sense of that all that crazy stuff. So I always associate Far Cry with kind of like Just Cause as well. All this outlandish, over the top stunts. And crazy things that you can do in the game. And I kind of get overwhelmed with open world games as it is, if they're too big. And I think that comes from trying to be like a completionist and try and complete everything. I think I've got that addiction, like you do as Dylan. But I think I like the American setting, not on the island. I've played so many games that are set on a friggin' island or that kind of feel the same.
Like
and
an
have
isolated sort of location.
Yeah, and for like the setting as well, haven't kind of come across something like that in that
There's
setting.
not many games set in the Himalayas.
Yeah, well, I mean for the latest one, like Montana, like how often do you get something like that? You're always getting like an LA or a San Andreas or a New York or Seattle or Chicago or something like that. So I think this is kind of interesting take, and I'm interested to see how they do it, especially with the current political climate. So yeah.
I hope that they don't. I hope that they don't, because there's already stupid fucking articles and shit popping up about people getting upset because they're killing white Christians and blah 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 blah. I hope that they don't. They just put it out in the vision that you want it to be, and don't fuck with it, and don't let any people try and.
The stupidest thing that I've heard so far is people acting like this game was made after Trump was elected or something like that.
Yeah.
Quick, rush it out.
They're like, oh, they made the game in like 6 months. Yeah, guys, they totally made the game in like 6 months.
To me, it's like they just watch Red State and they go, oh, let's make that a game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ubisoft Montreal are just sitting there. Finally, it's turn for us Canadians. Bring it on, they just had it in the vault. Release the game.
Yeah.
I was about to say they've had it made for like a couple of years. So I was just waiting. They're like, if it ever goes to shit, we'll just put this game out. But if the world starts getting better, we'll make this other Far Cry where it's like you shoot happy rainbow guns at polar bears and stuff like that.
One thing I'm most excited for too is fully playable co-op from beginning to end instead of just side missions.
That'll be interesting to see how they do that.
As long as they don't tie fucking trophies to me having to beat the whole game in co-op.
I'll
burn your fucking game in hell.
I was just about to say, Dylan, this is an opportunity for us here. If we get shoehorned into having to finish the game with co-op, let's do it.
Sue. I'll take him to court.
Oh, fuck.
It's funny though because we watching the trailer the other day. The first thing that popped out to me was like, oh, it's Outlast, but like more colourful.
In the daytime.
In the day, which is like the game makes me think of a horror game, like the plot and the story and everything like that, because it is like Red State, Outlast, like these types of things. But it's not a horror game, which is the weird part.
It reminds me of that modern day Call of Juarez they did a little while ago.
Was that any good?
One?
Yeah, I don't remember playing it. I just remember seeing the trailers.
Is that called the Cartel or something like that?
I'm pretty
I
sure
think
it
that
was.
the
Yeah,
last one.
Wasn't that really bad?
Yeah, I think so.
It's just more the setting that reminded me of it.
The first Call of Juarez was actually pretty good.
I played the second one and that was it.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called. Gunslingers?
I played the first one, Bound in Blight. It starts off at like the end of the Civil War. Anyway, that's not a...
It's not part of this topic.
We could fall down the Call of Juarez rabbit hole here.
So
the number one Call of Juarez
podcast. The thing about... So the trailer starts out all slow and you get introduced to these characters and stuff like that, and I was starting to think they're going to like try and push it to be more of a stealth-based Far Cry, which I was getting kind of excited about, like a more survival kind of sneaky one. But then by the end of the trailer, there's planes flying overhead, people in ATVs flying left, right, and center, which makes me wonder, like, is it the same as all other Far Cries where it's just like, oh, shit just goes batshit crazy? Yeah. Or can you possibly play it really fucking stealthily, or the options there to go batshit crazy with ATVs if you want to?
Yeah,
there's always been the option to go stealthy, though.
Well, that's it, yeah. I mean, thinking back to...
It never worked, though.
No, it never worked, but the option's there.
Well, you need... I played, like, heaps... I reckon the majority of Far Cry, like, it's more fun to start playing a stealth and you sneak... You snipe dudes from, like, the hill, and then you crawl down, and then you sneak in, you open the bloody tiger cage, or you throw the stone, you make them walk into a mine. It's like... I think you can. That's a good thing about Far Cry is you can play it your way. You can go in guns blazing on the back of a fucking elephant, or you can sneak down and just
it's not
silence
really proper
pistol
stealth though. I mean, like more survival, because like the problem with the Far Cry games and stealth was as soon as something went wrong, you just pulled out your AK-47 and just shot everyone in front of you in a couple seconds, and it didn't matter. Like I want it to be more. If you're trying to survival, if someone actually spots you, you're gonna die. Like you're fucked. Like you just have your 9mm, and there's dudes there with AKs. I want it to be more proper survival. That would be my dream version of this game. It's not gonna happen, but that's my dream. Redneck shooting survival sim.
Reminds me of Metal Gear. I used to plant C4 around. I start off the missions and do try and do it all stealthily and stuff with Metal Gear 5. I'm planting C4. The C4 was backup if I fucked up. So then when shit went crazy, I'm just like, let's just blow it all.
Shut up, Nick.
God damn it, Nick.
5 doesn't exist.
Fucking hatred. Your hatred of 5 is unaccepted.
5 is a great game. It just has
5 is the best.
It's a great game. It's not a Metal Gear game.
It has an unfinished story. Is its problem.
I apologize for bringing it up, Nick. I apologize for bringing it up. I'm sorry.
Fucking shut. All right. Well, all right. Buddy, you're on because a game came out this week that you was telling me last week
Yeah.
that you was very excited about. You said, in fact, you told me it was one of the games you was most excited about for the whole year. You said this is like top 3 most anticipated games of the year, I believe were your words. And the game was Rime. And
That's
I was
it.
like, I don't know what the fuck this game is. Please tell me about this game. I had
That's
to
the
Google it.
isn't that the Tequila Works game where they come in and they're like, we're taking your fucking dev kits away and this is no longer a Sony exclusive.
That's right. That's the one.
Is it good?
So
No, hold on, let's just start. I want,
Yeah.
I
wanna
because
know
I
about
didn't,
it.
I couldn't remember the whole story because I hadn't heard about it for so long.
Okay, so
Just, you explain to anyone who doesn't know the whole thing.
So briefly, it was picked up by Microsoft, supposed to be an XBLA exclusive, but they kind of dropped it because it wasn't multiplayer or social enough. Then Sony picked up the license in 2013. They released a trailer at Gamescom 2013. And then in 2016, Sony dropped it for some reason. I don't know what the story is behind it, whether they dropped it or Tequila Works purchased the IP off them or something happened. And it was one of my most anticipated games of 2016. And here it is in 2017 as a multi-platform game that's completely different to how they said they were going to make it in the first place.
You don't sound too happy.
No. Oh, okay. All the other.
So what is Rime? Explain the gameplay as well.
All right. So Rime is this kind of. It's kind of this cel-shaded third-person action and adventure game. Reminds me a lot of like The Witness.
It looks like
the
Journey.
Yeah. So it's got that same art style, Witness, Journey, kind of that. Doesn't really hold your hand. You don't know what's happening. So you play as this boy. You wake up in this beach and you're kind of figuring stuff out. Initially I was really enjoying it. So I played the other night. Campaign.
And never good. Initially, I was
Yeah, it was like you with AFL Evolution.
Don't get him started.
The scars-
Bring on.
Everyone
Stop
now.
bringing up.
The
stop
scars are
bringing,
too
stop bringing
fresh.
Up. Come on this podcast and you just
The
start
wounds
upsetting
haven't
everyone.
healed yet. I'm
just
still
try-
hurting.
Hey Dylan, just wait. I'll bring a game up that will trigger you. I'm not sure. Maybe I don't know. Smart As on Vita, one of your worst platinums.
One of my proudest platinums.
Proudest
really
one.
killed me.
You know what's funny about that? I did the street pass. I saved that for last, and I was doing the street pass every day, and I got all the other trophies. And then the next week they shut down the servers, and now I can't get the platinum. So I hate it. Anyway, that's totally unrelated to Rime. Rime. Initially, I was really enjoying it. I played it the other night for about five hours. Campaign supposed to be about 6 to 10. So I feel like I'm halfway through the game already in one sitting. I didn't go to bed till like 4:30. Love the art style. Love the soundtrack. It's very orchestral. It's really cool atmosphere. Doesn't kind of hold your hand when you're exploring in the thing. Doesn't really tell you what to do. So I kind of like that. It's much similar to like The Witness, which is my favorite game of the generation and probably one of my top 5 favorite games of all time.
Is The Witness that puzzle game?
Yes, yes, it is.
Okay.
And this is similar to that. So you're kind of solving these puzzles and opening up more of the island and getting collectibles and learning more of the secrets about why you're here and what's happening. I'm not really too invested in the storyline. I was really digging it at the start, but it feels like it's kind of funneled me like the second, third part of the game that I'm playing now. It feels
What
like
is the storyline?
So what is the storyline?
So you're a kid.
Kind of looks like Eco, like the guy from Eco.
It does, yeah. It looks like the guy from Last Guardian Eco, except cartoonish and not speaking fucking Japanese or whatever. It feels really, yeah, that's right. So you wake up on the beach and then it gives you no context at all and you're kind of just exploring and discovering. And then you find you look through these keyholes. There's 8 in the game. I think I've done 5 or so. And they show these like hieroglyphics, like little, photo of what's happening. And it feels like you've been lost from your family from this boat and sea. I don't want to get too much into it in case it spoils, but there's no text in the game. It's just those little pictures every now and then that they give you. Like I said, there's only 8 in the game, so I don't know what the payoff's going to be like getting to the end. And I'm a bit confused. I don't really care. I'm not really digging it. I'm not really playing it for the storyline. I kind of just love puzzle games and that kind of exploration and free roam. But like I said, it feels like it's funneling me into.
So what are the puzzles? Are they?
They're not hard, so it's nothing like The Witness. There's no mazes. There's nothing like that. It's kind of just finding the kind of little statues, and there's only 3 kind of mechanics in the game. You can jump, What else can you do? Roll, climb shit. And I think he makes this noise, like this calling noise, and that's what you do when you're near things to activate switches or to, trigger stuff. Yeah, so that's the only mechanic. There's no combat in it. It's just like pushing and pulling objects and using shadows and
Sucks, man. Want to shoot
yeah. Well, that's right. Yeah, I'm a man. I'm gonna destroy it. Yeah, fucking yeah. Yeah. So
the puzzles are they're different types. It's not like The Witness where they're all these maze puzzles. They're all different different types of stuff. So you can't get good at the type of puzzle if they're different.
No, they're not as in-depth as what The Witness was. Because even though The Witness were just mazes, there was mazes with different mechanics and from different parts of the island. Like, yeah, the Witness was really quite in-depth with their kind of puzzles, even though they all kind of look the same. But yeah, these ones are not. It's simply just finding a thing and using your core thing to open it or moving something in the right place and stuff like that. Kind of like what Last Guardian is, but not super as in-depth or crazy. Yeah.
It looks beautiful just from looking at screenshots. Does that translate in game?
Absolutely, it does. Yeah. It is a little bit framey, and I was speaking to Ryan, who does Pop Culturist, another podcast that is quite popular and going well.
Shout out to Ryan
Aussie friends, yeah. That's right.
Congrats.
Don't worry, I backed his Patreon. It's okay.
Yeah,
we can
congrats
talk
to
about
the boys on launching their Patreon.
Yes, big congratulations. I might actually break my Patreon cherry with that one.
Really?
But yeah, he was saying...
It's too late. They already passed 100. I was there for the milestone.
Oh, well, I'm getting into 200, damn it. Don't quote me. Edit that out. But yeah... He was saying it was quite framey, and before I played, I was like, "How was it?" And a little bit framey, but nothing too jarring. It's not like Telltale crash your game and shit. But yeah, it's. I'm kind of milled out in the moment. I'd probably have to play the rest of the game to kind of come up with a solid opinion on it.
This is full priced?
Well, I get staff price. For me,
what's retail that don't work?
What about us plebs? What do we have to pay?
Yeah.
$59. So it's not super crazy.
Yeah.
It's budget price.
Worth it?
Yeah.
Is it worth 59?
I wouldn't pay 59 for it.
Considering what Ratchet and Clank was, 65 or something like that when it came out? What was Ratchet and Clank?
Ratchet and Clank was
Clank
55
was 60,
or 60, yeah. It was about that same price. Ratchet and Clank was awesome. You got more bang for your buck there than you could even imagine.
Comparatively, The Witness was 100, right?
Yeah. Witness was $56.95.
Yeah, Witness was,
digital only. So
it sounds like you're not getting your money's worth with it. If you're paying full price.
If you're paying full price, I probably wouldn't pay it for full price. But I'm one of these people that if you don't pay for full price now and play this in its current environment, then when are you ever going to go back to it? Like you just keep having titles come out. You've got Crash, you've got Wipeout, Uncharted,
PS Plus game in 6 months.
Yeah,
I don't know about that.
Maybe,
I don't think Sony. I don't think Sony are going to go near this game.
Yeah,
they just come back to help mend the wounds. They're like,
no
guys,
way. No
Listen,
way.
Remember how we did fund you? Yeah.
Remember how we came in and stole your dev kits? Well,
what we're going to do now is give away your game for free.
It's just you describing it. It sounds like I'm visualizing like a price, and I'm like, I see in my mind, I see $20. I'm like, that sounds like a $20 game. And if you can put a dollar price on games, you think about a $20 game, I'm like, okay, like Alien Nation was $20, Inside's like $20, like those types of games is what it sounds like when you describe it.
Yeah.
Not a 59, 60, like not a Ratchet and Clank The Witness type game.
No. I'd fully agree with that. So
interesting.
Yeah,
all right.
That's my take on it.
That's Rime, everyone. The story is. Don't buy it. I
Flaccid.
guess is the
rating flaccid.
That's right.
It's a whole documentary just there. Remember this story you once heard about like a year or two ago? Well, here's a recap of that. And now that game's out.
It's
half. Buy it.
It's half an erection out of an erection.
Good enough. Half chub, as someone say.
It can either turn into a full erection or it could turn into nothing. We don't know yet. It's too early.
We've all been there. What
if at the end of the game they tell you the meaning of life?
Don't know whether that's worth $59. I got all these other games coming out. I've got a wedding to pay for. That's right.
It's a fucking wedding business. I'm sick of hearing about it.
Sorry,
Cost you a trip to RTX. That did.
It did. I know. I'm very upset, but you know.
Yeah, I would be too.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
So I want to talk about 2 betas that are happening right now at the same time that different people have checked out and stuff like that. So at the moment you've got the Marvel Heroes of Storm beta thingy happening, and there's also the Gwent beta thingy happening. So Nick's played both. I've played Marvel Heroes, but I'm going to start with Gwent for anyone else who's played it or is interested in it. I haven't played it yet, but I want to check it out. Nick, you've played a fuck ton of Gwent. You appear to be in love with this game.
I am.
Is this the best game ever that's not even out yet?
Yes.
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 He has been playing a lot of it. He's constantly playing it. He wanted to play it while podcasting. He's an addict.
The stupid video. I would have fucking been playing it on remote play.
So, do you wish it was on Vita? Because you constantly talk about remote playing Gwent. Do you just wish it was a Vita game? It is a card game. It doesn't seem like too out of the question.
Yeah, I'd play it on Vita.
Yeah.
Every game's a Vita game with the power of remote play.
Yeah. Okay. So everyone here's played Witcher 3, right?
Correct. No. What?
Really?
Oh my god.
Who let this prick on the podcast?
Blame me. I'm sorry. All right. So next
check
question.
the credentials before you.
Have you played any trading card games or anything like that? Digital, real life, anything.
Final Fantasy 8. Is it?
Yes.
Trading card
Triple
game.
Triad.
Triple Triad's probably my favorite. That was my favorite part of Final Fantasy 8, and probably the only reason I actually played that game.
I spent at least 50 hours in Triple Triad.
Yes.
Well, for anyone listening who hasn't played Gwent and wants and Buddy obviously, do you want to explain it real quick, Nick? Because you've been playing it much.
Okay, Gwent is a card game where you have 25 cards in a deck. You draw 10 at the beginning of the round, and there's 3 rounds in a match, and you have to win 2 out of the 3 rounds to win the game. And basically, to win a round is you have to have a higher total, because each card has a particular strength to it, and you have you have to have a higher total than the other person to win that round. And that's the basic gist of it, and then there's all these different cards that affect it in different ways.
So you basically the version of Witcher 3 was a lot simpler than the one that
it was a lot simpler. Gwent seems to get rid of that whole role-playing game side mechanic from The Witcher 3 and just give them the main game.
So you have 3 rows. You have a sword row, an archery row, and a
siege.
Was it
it's
catapult?
Like trebuchet.
Siege
it's
row.
a trebuchet.
Yeah. Trebuchet.
Siege.
Fucking trebuchet cunt. So you put cards in each different spot, and they have numbers to them. Then that row will get assigned numbers, and then I suppose the mind games part comes in. Like, it was very easy to mind game in the original game, because as soon as you unlocked cards called decoys, what decoys let you do was you could take a card you've already put down on the field and put it back into your hand, and then you just put a decoy on the field. So you could very easily lose the first round but win the next 2 if you had like decoys in your hand and spies you put on your opponent's field. They let you draw cards, you just give them spies, they'd play cards, you drop down like 1 or 2 random cards if you had decoys, and then you just decoy them back to your hand, and then you pass that match and be like, you win that round, but they've used half their deck already and you've used nothing. And then so the AI was very easy to fuck.
The noise that Buddy's brain just made was
How about Tim there?
It's very simple. Like in terms of like real life card games, like very simple to understand.
It's based off a real life card game called Condottieri.
I'm impressed that you know that.
He's loving this shit, man. He's fucking loving it. So the bigger question, I think, is will something like this do well on consoles? Is the part that interests me the most, because of course, like shit like Hearthstone is fucking massive on PCs, right? And even mobile. Everyone fucking plays Hearthstone. Hearthstone's a great game. I like Hearthstone. I don't play it that much, but it's probably would be too complicated, and it doesn't seem like the kind of game would do well on console. Like it would kind of be like trying to put a MOBA on console, which they do try and they don't do well, and trying to put something like this on console at the same, I'd be like, So do you think that this can do well on console? Or is it just going to flop? Because it's
No, well, I think they've already got that Witcher audience that played Witcher 3 and loved Gwent.
Is it
They've
too
already
late
got
to
that
download
going
the
for 'em.
beta?
No,
it's
it's
still good.
open beta. So it'll
Yeah.
be open beta until they release the full game. So all the progress you make in this carries over.
Just on is
That's
that
fair.
Really?
is that just on the store, or do you have to go and like?
It's on the store.
Yep.
It's on the
You just
store.
download
Yeah,
it.
you don't have to
Yeah.
sign up for anything.
So, what are the trophies like? Do we know?
Doesn't have
I have
any
no
yet.
fucking idea.
I'm gonna
Back
play
to the
that
game.
shit. They don't have any. Oh, fuck you, Nick.
Nick, you son of
No
a
one
bitch. People
So-
care.
It will do good on console.
My
too
ears
because
just pricked up.
They're playing. There's also cross-platform play, so PC to Xbox and then PC to PS4 as well.
Which is good.
Yeah.
That's better than nothing, I guess.
It's better than nothing.
From what I encounter so far, it hasn't been pay to win either, because you regularly get booster packs or in-game currency to buy booster packs.
It works
So-
like Hearthstone.
Is
Yeah,
there
well, I never
is there
played Hearthstone that
microtransaction?
much.
Is there
There is.
microtransactions? There is.
Yeah.
There is. So, but I haven't encountered it meaning much, because
Why was
Well,
this bad face about transactions, Jack? Do you
What's that,
hate
sorry?
do you hate old microtransactions?
I don't hate them. I've never I never buy like I get annoyed like if I'm playing like Call of Duty or something,
Well, that's
Battlefield, and I'm like playing there like,
$5
hey,
for a dance.
buy this. Like I'm like trying to upgrade things to like get to the next crate or
Drawn
whatever
to
to get
death.
a fucking skin for my shitty rifle, and they're like, hey, pay $5 and we'll give it to you now. Like fuck off, just let me earn it. And same with like, I mean, it makes a little bit more sense with a card game.
I was about to say
like,
it's a card
And
game.
it's
you buy
free to
booster
play.
packs.
buy cards, but I'd rather just
Yeah.
like pay 20, 30. Like, what's the price of the game? Do we know, or is it free?
Free.
it's free. It's free to play.
See, I'd rather pay $20 and just like let me earn
But
the
that
cards.
But I'm
takes
saying
away
it's
all
like
the
Hearthstone
competitiveness.
Yeah. It's literally like any other card game you'd play in real life, in that it's better than real life card games, because they give you cards. You can't walk into your local Good Games or whatever fuck your card store is and be like, hey, I want to play Magic the Gathering. They hand you an intro pack for free and say, here, the rest of the packs cost money. At least with The Witcher and Hearthstone, you start the game, they're like, here's an intro deck. Now you have to buy
You
your
get
boosters.
intro deck for each of the factions, and then you earn cards as you go along. Earn
Not a
cards
fan.
and booster packs and stuff.
Also
Hey,
better
how
than
would
real
you-
life because you
How
don't
would
have to
you
leave
do
the
it
house.
differently, Jack?
Yeah.
You would win cards from people. That's how I would do it. Like you do in game, you win the cards.
Play for slips.
Yeah, like you put up like I would have it like.
Well, that's
You-
gambling.
That wouldn't.
Yeah.
I don't think that would work.
Why wouldn't
He's
it
like-
work?
Because
So
if
like
somebody
this is the
keeps
way-
on losing, then they'll have no cards left at all.
Oh, too bad, so sad.
That doesn't.
Well,
make
how
it
did they
good
get more
game.
cards? Did they pay for the cards when they run out? How did they get more?
Well, you just go back to the start. Like you just go back to like you get like you restart from the. So this is how I would like envision. All right, so you start off the game. You pay $20 for the game, right? You start off the game.
Yeah.
You get your 20 cards or whatever you get. You start in like a pool of people around the same level, and you put up whatever card you put up 3 cards for possible loss at the end of this match, and you lose a card, and then the person that wins gets to pick of the 3 cards that you put up, or however it works. And then you just keep playing, you win other people's cards. And if you lose all your cards, no matter what, say you've got up like 10 levels or whatever, and you're playing with more intermediate cards or whatever, and you lose all your cards, and you go back to the start, and you have to go from the bottom and get the shitty cards again, work your way back up. That's how I would do it.
Right. Well, Blizzard,
That would
if you're listening,
alienate so many people from the game.
Probably. That's why I don't make video games. Just telling you what I would do.
And just to make Jack happy and trigger him again, we'll have little sports bets ads run at the top of the top of the game, and little we'll have Joel Kane come in at halftime and into the intermission and say who's going to win and give us the odds and stuff. So
The thing
That'd
with
be cool.
Gwent
A
2
man
is
after my
it's
own
not
heart.
strictly multiplayer. On full release, they will have a full single player story campaign type thing as well.
Cool. Sweet. I'll play it, and probably I won't spend any money on it, or I'll try not to anyway. But get me fucking I appreciate what you're doing, but put somebody else, give it to some other studio to make this game Give me Cyberpunk. What the fuck are you doing? Stop
Yeah.
fucking around
It's
with
a
Gwent.
completely
Give me-
separate team.
Is it a completely separate team?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, put that team back into the other team and give me Cyberpunk. Stop fucking around with card games.
There's so many
Motherfuckers.
people out in the world.
They
that are,
told
like,
me that I was going to have it into
legit
like,
excited for this.
like 2016. Yeah,
I guarantee there's a lot of people that are like, yeah, no, I'll wait for Cyberpunk. Like, this is super important.
Cyberpunk,
you know I'm
Wait
right.
for-
has the most goodwill out of every developer out
You
there.
know I'm irrational. They're fantastic. I went and bought the game, like just Witcher 3, that is. Just as the normal sort of like pre-order, just the game. And then I went out afterwards and bought a collector's edition, a PC version of the collector's edition, just so I could get like the statue
Empty.
and that. Like,
I thought
afterwards.
you was about to say just so I could empty some money out of my pockets, but you know, whatever.
No, just because I was like, I fell in love with the game so much. I absolutely like adore it. And I was like, I need to get that fucking badass statue where he's fucking that griffin up. And then I bought I've got another, what's his name, Geralt statue over there.
Side note, buddy, why haven't you played The Witcher then? Since you just tell us why you don't play good video games.
I'm not
and you just play shitty
I'm
ones
not a
like
big
mine.
fan of the fantasy settings. I say that.
Greg Miller,
Yeah.
of Australian podcasting.
That's
here.
right. So I'm not a big fan of the settings, and then I was hearing there was going to be like 200 plus hours and all these side missions
Yeah,
and
so
shit. And like,
beautiful.
oh my god, my mind's going to explode with all this kind of stuff. So I'm not big on Lord of the Rings. I'm not big on Hobbit. I'm not big on this kind of stuff. So but I'm totally pumped for Cyberpunk because you
Yeah,
know
fuck yeah.
that kind of game. But in a setting that I actually give more of a damn about, then yeah, I'm fully in for that. So it's not that I have anything against The Witcher because I don't know. Yeah, it's
You
not.
get to fuck on a unicorn.
Ooh.
That is true. You do. What's your genre of choice as far as like RPGs and stuff like that go?
Mass
like
Effect, I
you,
assume.
you're like a Mass Effect dude, or you like?
Nah,
you-
not Mass Effect.
Not after Andromeda.
So you don't like Mass Effect, you don't like The Witcher, and you don't like Far Cry. Son of a bitch.
I haven't played Far Cry and I haven't played Mass Effect, so I may like those franchises. I may even like Witcher. I just
You may like video games.
I've only got so much time to allocate for games, so all these big time sinks.
So what do you
put me off.
allocate your time to, mostly?
What?
Unfortunately, I'm like 60 hours into Zelda at the moment, so there's that.
That's a fucking
That's
fantasy game.
fantasy.
I know it is. It doesn't make sense. Everything else I dislike. You know why? Because I compare everything to Zelda. I think that's my problem.
Yeah.
I just love that lore, and I'm in that world. So
Generally, though, what's your genre of choice? Generally,
Do you like Infamous? GTA?
oh, I love Infamous. I've platinumed all the Infamous games except for 2. I love GTA.
What's your favourite GTA?
Favorite GTA? That's a tough one. I'm probably gonna go Vice City.
Wrong.
For
It's
favourite
wrong.
GTA.
That's the correct answer. That's the correct answer.
4. I hated 4 out of all of them. That was the one I disliked.
Four's the worst one, Nick. Shut
Yeah,
up.
I hated
4
4
is
of
the
them. That
best
was the
one.
worst.
no, 4's definitely not the best one.
So
Nico Bellic, would you like to come on fucking
Come
Taxi
on,
Ride? with
cousin.
me?
Especially
Let's
the
go
DLCs.
DLCs don't count. It's not
Yeah,
part
sure.
of when you judge the game.
It is.
I
It's
think
a
it
complete
goes.
package.
I think it goes Vice City 5, San Andreas 3, 4.
I still haven't played 5.
What about
What?
1, 2, and London?
one and 2
Well,
are
they're
great.
they're in their own sort of thing.
They're
Nick,
not.
'cause
They're
sort of-
GTA games.
Yeah, but they're not. Like, they're not GTA games that... You dickhead. They're not the
Trying to
3D
sound
open world GTA games.
Vice City
Try-
Stories.
try-
fuck
Liberty
outta
City
here.
Stories.
Liberty City Stories and Vice City Stories are good games. They are good games.
They actually are great games.
They're
I wish
really
they
good.
made more stories for the Vita. That was my hope and dream, but it never actually happened. Anyway,
The
moving,
Vita
on
would've
to,
lived with
moving
that.
on to the other beta that's happening right now that me and Nick did some streaming of right before recording this, which was Marvel Heroes Amiga something. I don't fucking remember what the full. What's the title of the game, Nick? Was it
Marvel Heroes and
Heroes.
I think that's it's just
That's
that.
it. Got
I'm
it.
pretty sure.
Spot on. Fucking
What
fucking
the
spot on.
fuck is
beta.
that?
You don't know what this game is?
No, I do not.
What
It's
is
a
it?
beta with trophies. Fuck yes. I got like 3 trophies out of this
Did you
beta.
just click?
Yeah.
Did you just snap your fingers?
Fuck yeah. Shut up.
pay it.
nerd.
I'll pay it.
Anyway, so it's did anyone ever play Marvel Ultimate
Oh, go
Alliance
for
1
it.
or 2?
Yes.
No.
Says you who recording Pleasure Explosion yesterday did.
No one can see that, Dylan.
No, but they get
This
the
is
sound.
a strictly audio podcast.
Go watch mine and Jack's vlog. So, did anyone ever play Marvel Ultimate Alliance?
No.
Yes.
Negative.
Even the X-Men Legends games and stuff like that. Like the top-down action RPG ones.
Can we check who likes comic books for a fucking round off on that question?
I like comic books.
Buddy, do you like comic books?
Yes, I like comic books.
I was about to kick you from the chat. If I was in the same room recording this podcast, I'd just throw you out the fucking door in a minute.
We're currently suffering technical difficulties. Buddy can't be contacted right now.
Buddy's actually dead.
Buddy's currently just suffering. Yeah, sorry, you had to leave. Everyone,
Buddy's
back,
suffering
but-
from a blow to the head with a blunt object.
Buddy's got a hematoma.
So explain to me, as someone who's no experience with these games, explain to me what they are.
They're Diablo with Marvel characters,
I'm gonna love it.
which is that's right. That's what we've been playing basically,
Yeah,
isn't it, Nick?
pretty much.
Diablo with
Action,
Marvel characters.
top-down action RPG. Marvel
Fantastic.
setting.
Where
Can I be Gambit?
You can be anyone in Marvel.
Can I be
you can't
Deadpool?
be anyone.
Yes,
You can be those two characters.
you can be
though.
nearly everyone. You can't be anyone.
You can
but
be
those
Squirrel
two
Girl.
characters.
Batman? Can I be the Batman?
No. Do you know? Do you understand comics?
Yeah,
Look,
Batman's
let's go.
Batman's in the Marvel thingy.
Oh yeah, he totally is. He's definitely. So does So yeah, it's basically a game where you walk around, you press X square, triangle, circle, L1. You just spam buttons and stuff happens.
Can I be Forge?
No,
I don't know who the fuck that is.
Forge isn't in it.
no.
It's disappointing.
Not as a player
Can I be-
character at this
Can I be
stage.
Can I be Havoc?
Yes,
No, you can't.
I believe. Can you?
No.
This game's not shaping
sure?
up very well so far.
So what?
You can be Moon Knight.
No one cares about fucking Moon Knight. Do you
Jack
remember?
does.
I went into my local comic books. I went into my comic book store at one stage, and I had like 50 copies of Moon Knight, like the first volume that they tried to put out. And I was like, "Does anyone want these for like $1?" And everyone was like, "No."
Can I be
No one-
Toad?
No one wants to read.
No.
Moon Knight.
No villains.
No Toad. Jesus fucking Christ. No villains.
You play as heroes.
stage.
For fuck's sake.
Oh, I guess
It's in the title, Marvel Heroes.
Marvel Villains Alliance is the DLC. Jack.
It would be like that MMO back in the day, City of Heroes and City of Villains.
Oh dear.
So it's so far. Well, I mean, it isn't beta. So when we talk about it, just take into account it is beta. It doesn't run as smooth as Diablo. Who here played the last like Diablo 3, right?
Yes.
Yes, I did.
No.
I'm not even surprised at this stage. But
Buddy doesn't play games.
What have you played, buddy?
Rhyme.
Check my
none of the
trophy
games
list.
was mentioned today.
I played a lot of games, just these aren't in my wheelhouse.
They've all been completely different genres so far. We're like The Witcher.
No two games have been the same.
Marvel Hero.
Fuck, right.
So it's basically, it was a lot of fun. Like me and Nick played for like an hour and a bit over like that. And I think definitely playing it by yourself, it would be boring because it's very like mindless. There's goons, you slam X buttons, you experience points are popping off the screen. At one stage we went into this other mode and there was like other players there and was fighting bosses and it looked like a screen
Like a
off
group
World
event
of
kind of
Warcraft
thing.
because yeah, it was just like there was so much happening on the screen at the same time, and everyone was just spamming spells and shit like that and abilities. And then there was just hit points flying off enemies left, right, and center. It's like I have no idea what's happening, but like Ghost Rider just drove past on his bike, and that was pretty cool. So for 10 out of 10, I guess.
What are the
I don't-
graphics like? What are the graphics like?
Okay,
They're
I mean, they're
serviceable.
fine. They're not. They're fine. I mean, the game's free, right? When it comes out, it's free.
Are there microtransactions?
Yes.
Of course there is. However, you can unlock it. This is the part we can't figure out.
Yeah.
You pay to unlock characters, right?
You get enough
But-
money to buy one character to begin with.
Yeah, but you don't.
Who'd you buy?
I bought Nova.
I can't remember who I brought because I accidentally clicked on the random
It was
character.
oh fuck, who was it? I'm gonna have to look it up now. Keep on talking.
It was some. I was just like spamming X through the menu. I'm like, can you stop trying to tell me what to do, Agent Coulson? You fuckhead.
Can
And
I
then-
be Eddie Brock?
No. Yes. No.
No,
Because that's a
you
bad
fight
guy.
Eddie Brock.
For fuck's sake, Jack.
Can I be Bane?
I hate
Oh,
everyone on
Bane
this
is
podcast.
Eddie
Can I
Brock.
be?
No.
Can
And
I be
this
Calendar
is Platinum
Man?
Explosion for this week. These two will never be on the show again.
Buddy will when I fucking make a podcast about playing mobile games by the sound of it. Nintendo Switch podcast.
That's right, mate. Switch it up.
Angela. You're playing as Angela.
Switch it up. That's a good name for a podcast.
Nah, it's going to be called Switched. It's going to be hosted by Dylan, me, and Aston Kutcher, and it's going to be this like kind of early. Oh shit, they done that. That's already been done on MTV. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. You fucked up. You fucked up. Marvel. So anyway, but there's betas happening. They're good. Go play free games. Moving on to the last segment that's important to everyone here, but Nick. Hashtag every trophy counts. Now I need to know how the Rime trophies, buddy. Tell me.
Rime trophies seem pretty straightforward. I think from memory there's 33, including the platinum. I think there's like 4 or 5 gold, which basically just collect all the collectibles.
That's a lot of golds.
There's some other stuff. It's weird because the trophy list wasn't up when I started playing the game. So usually I check it first. That's the first thing I do before any game to see if there's any missable trophies. So that I don't miss out on them, or I don't fuck myself by having to play the game 20
Do you do that?
fucking
Will
times.
you look up spoilers?
So, yeah, they're okay. I think there's a chapter select at the end of the game. So, and that's got a collectible count then. But at the moment, there's no collectible count and nothing. So, but I think it should be pretty straightforward. Most people on the forums are, straightforward. So we'll see. It's good.
10 out of 10. The other thing I want to point out for trophies, as I just previously mentioned, is that the Marvel game does have trophies, and they all just look grindy as fuck, but easy. So that's an easy platinum. But the most important news story of the week, and you thought it was going to be Far Cry. It's not Far Cry. The most important news story this week was the fact, ladies and gentlemen, Crash 1, 2, and 3 are all getting fucking platinums. I'm going to platinum the fuck out of all 3 of those.
Are they going to be available
I'm gonna
separately?
platinum the fuck.
No, I think you have to, like, it's just in the collection. It's like $60 and you get all 3 games and then they all have platinums. It's like the Uncharted collection and all that shit, I guess.
I have to say,
Hashtag every Bandicoot counts.
yeah, I have to say they fucking nailed it with that. When I saw that news, I'm like, that they like everyone is like getting this game as like a hardcore PlayStation fan, right? Because no one who didn't have a PS1 is getting the Crash collection because it's like, who gives a fuck? It's a fucking Bandicoot. But
Don't be so
the
rude.
hardcore of the hardcores are getting this collection, and they're fucking 3 platinum trophies. Yeah. Like they fucking nailed that. They really did. So props to Sony for that.
I'd
Well
pay
done.
more than $60 for this. I'm
Quick
so
question
excited.
to you, Dylan, actually. I don't know if you know the answer to this or not. Wipeout Collection, is that going to have 3 different platinums as well? Do you know? Have we seen a trophy list?
Are they setting it
I haven't
recently?
heard anything, but did you see, on that note, did you see today or the other day they put up the soundtrack listing, like you could listen to it online?
Of what, Wipeout?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, all the old tracks and Prodigy,
Yeah,
Chemical
they put
Brothers
out
and
like
shit.
they like remastered some or whatever.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah. No, I'd assume that has 3 as well because they're both. If fucking Crash gets them, then I'm going to assume Wipeout Collection gets them.
No, I don't know about that. They're
Yeah,
not
I'm
really
not- I'm
putting
not
the
so sure
same
either.
the same love into Wipeout that they are into Crash. I feel like they're 2 separate things. I feel like they're not.
Oh, they're not putting as much effort into Wipeout, no, but I still think Wipeouts. They're not like rushing these things out the door. Like
No. But
if you
it's
look
not.
at Wipeout, it looks really fucking great, and I can't wait to play that on my fucking Pro and 4K and shit because I reckon it's going to look gorgeous running
Yeah.
at like 60 frames and all that sort of shit. And with the soundtrack and everything, it's going to be fucking amazing. I still suck at those games, but I'm excited for Wipeout.
I just feel like it's not in the same echelon as Crash.
No, well, they're going pretty deep on this Crash thing, a lot deeper than I thought they would. Because when they announced it, I thought it was like a throwaway. Yeah, we're remastering the Crashes. It'll just show up one day. It's not this big of a deal. But now that they've been marketing the fuck out of it, like all the channels have been doing great for it. They're like, here's 3 platinum trophies. They've been putting out gameplay slowly from the games and like building it up nicely. They've announced all this new swag that's coming out, like in Zing and EB games and all that sort of shit that they're going to get, like mugs, key rings, fucking t-shirts. So they're going fairly deep on the like Crash.
They're getting all the
Crash
suckers
train.
that hate bad games, that love bad games.
Fuck up.
Jesus Christ.
It's great. It's great fan service, and it's garnered some goodwill. I know it's like goodwill by remastering games that we've already played and selling them back to us, but they didn't have to do this and bring out all the merch, and they didn't have to give the platinum trophies. They didn't have to remaster it from the ground up, but they know that people love these things. that
people
much.
are
They
asking
could have just
for it, though.
half-assed it.
That's it. People have been asking for Crash for years, so there's been rumors since early PS3 era about Crash coming back to PlayStation. What are Activision doing with the license? What's going on there? It's just sort of sitting there dormant. Is it going to be? There was rumors around All Star Battle Royale or whatever it was. What was it called?
PlayStation All-Stars
Both of those things.
Which they should have just kept it as Title Fight. I don't know why the fuck they changed the name. That's stupid. Anyway, there was rumors around that there was Crash was going to be in that, and then that never eventuated. So there's been talk for years about Crash coming back to Sony. So people have been asking for it. So I think it's a good thing.
Is it a confirmed exclusive?
For a year, I think.
For like
Sony
a year
has it for a year.
Yeah, Sony has it for a year. And
similar to the Tomb Raider sort of thing, except the shoes on the other foot.
Yeah, but
Except
this
Tomb
isn't as
Raider
big
was
as
a
a
good
deal
game.
as fucking Tomb Raider, a brand new Tomb Raider game compared to a remastered Crash Collection's a bit different.
You're such a fuck, Nick.
I think it's going to underperform.
Do you really? I think it's going to fucking kill it.
I don't think it's going to sell that well, honestly.
I think it's going to dominate.
I think it's
think it
going to
will.
kill. I think it's going to sell like old fucking
Yeah.
hotcakes as well.
Because it's not. It's a similar thing to Ratchet and Clank. It's not a full price game. $69. It's gonna
It's
fucking
$60,
smash
I
it.
think. I
No,
saw it at
$69.
$60 at JB, I swear.
Oh, at EB Games, it's $69.95.
Okay.
So
Well, I know where I
so
go.
many-
Don't know, buddy.
So
Don't
many
know,
people
eh?
come into work that are buying PlayStation 4s and they're like, do you have something like Crash? And now I can go, we have Crash.
you got that Bandicoot? You got some of that Bandicoot?
Yeah.
Do you know, this is the thing
Give
I
me
think
some of
a
that
lot
Bandicoot.
I think a lot of people don't realize is like, especially people around my age or whatever like that. There's heaps of people, and I see on my Facebook from people I went to high school with that aren't gamers, but used to play, like they had a PlayStation 1 with their kids.
And all they played was
when
Crash.
that trailer came out for the remaster collection, I saw people sharing that on their Facebook and being like, oh my God, can't wait to be such a nerd again, which is stupid. But of course it's like, oh,
Just
it's
makes
weird
you want
how
to
it's
strike
weird.
a motherfucker, doesn't it?
Yeah, but it is what it is. But it's still it amused me how like of everything these people might like get like of everything. It's like this is their they see this they're like, oh fuck, I'm so excited. Maybe I'll get a PS4 now. Like I'll play this game and look into some other games. Like I think this is grabbing at an audience that I don't think a lot of people realize, especially for like Crash is old enough now that there is a certain audience that's got like proper nostalgia for this.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
isn't like some game that came out 10 years ago. This is like legit, like it's old enough now that there's proper nostalgia for this. And it isn't like a rushed out remaster, and it isn't some random thing. Like they've put a lot of effort into it. And I think the part that interests me the most though is, are they going to, do the sales numbers impact a sequel? Or do the sales numbers impact something like a Spyro getting a trilogy remaster, which is the other thing that's been rumored, of course.
Jack, did you hear the
think-
news as well? Crash is going to have microtransactions.
You're a fucking microtransaction. Dylan, I think you're more likely to get a
Yes.
Spyro than you are to get a Crash sequel.
Who
Yeah, I
owns
don't think I'm
Spyro?
getting it. I'll just,
It's Activision as well, I believe.
yeah.
Because of so
Skylanders.
it'll be
Skylanders.
Skylanders, yeah. So I think you're more likely to go for them to go, okay. Activision will go, okay, cool. We made good bank on this. People bought it. People were into it. Let's go Spyro, because Spyro, you probably like in
better
actual
game.
fact, you're probably gonna like a Spyro collection is probably gonna sell better than the Crash collection, because if you think about it, because you're gonna have the nostalgic people who played Spyro on PS1 or whatever, and then you're gonna get all of the kids,
Little kids
who
from-
have been growing
yeah.
up with fucking Skylanders for the last whatever it is 4 or 5 years that it's been going, and they're gonna go, sweet, I get a single player Spyro game, and they're gonna play through those, and I think you're more likely to, because Spyro is worth more to Activision than Crash is, so I think you're more than likely
I
to
don't
get the
think
latter than a
Spyro
Crash.
has that much mind share with kids.
It's Skylanders though.
Yeah, but
Skylanders.
Spyro is such a minor part of Skylanders. It's not
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, but he was the first. Like, it's based around that. Do you know what I mean? So they go, okay, we're gonna make a game,
Yeah.
like a
I
single
think
player
they could
game.
easily
on a-
market it backwards and be
Yeah.
like, you know, like they could fucking call it the Skylanders collection or something like that. And like for all of us would be like, oh, it's the first 3 Spyro games, but they could literally call it like the Skylanders Spyro collection and market it towards young kids. But the thing I was thinking about this the other day, and the question that interests me the most when that rumor was happening about them remastering Spyro was, so Spyro in the Skylanders games is nothing like the Spyro original trilogy that anyway, like we all played. And there was that Netflix animated series or whatever, the Skylanders one, that I like looked at for a little bit, which again, I'm like, this is not anything like how I know Spyro. So it would be interesting if they did put out the collection, because little kids would play it and be like, what the fuck is this? This isn't even the Spyro I know, which has me more worried that if they did do it, they'll try and make Spyro look more like the Skylanders version than the version we know.
I think we'd be okay, because I don't know. I think there's not as, like, going back to that thing, there's not as much love for Spyro from our generation as there is from the new generation. So if they fucked with it, everyone would be like, okay, they fucked with it, but I'm not really, like, no one really loves Spyro. Do you know what I mean? People love Crash, and people love Ratchet.
You know what I did? When I was like 8 years old, I grabbed 6 or 8 pieces of A4 paper. I sticky taped them all on the back, so I had a nice big piece of A4 paper. I then got my manual of Spyro, the original game, and I sat down for an entire afternoon and I drew Spyro on that huge piece of paper I'd built and coloured him in. So some of us that are a little bit younger than you do have do have great love for Spyro and Crash. You know, the important question that I haven't got to ask while we're talking about Spyro Crash is, hey buddy.
Yes.
Have you played Crash?
Have I what, sorry?
Played Crash Bandicoot?
Yes, I played Crash Bandicoot. Fuck.
Have you played Spyro?
Yes, I played Spyro.
Fucking double winner. We've hit it.
But you know what beats Spyro for me? And I think you mentioned it last week. Croc, man.
Croc. I was just going to mention Croc.
Croc. Legend of the Gobbos.
What about
Bring
Gex?
back Croc. It's Croc's time.
Oh, Gex, Enter the Gecko.
You know the thing... I think the reason I didn't like Croc so much, like, I like Croc, but for some reason that game scared the fuck out of me as a little kid.
The Gobbos,
like,
right?
It legit
the Gobbos?
scared me.
Punk ass bitch, that's why.
Well, other than that fact, but it was way darker than like your Crashes or your Spyros or anything like that. Like, it was scary. The worlds looked scary. It had creepy music. It was a lot darker. It looks a lot more like a Nintendo 64 game as well, which is the odd part. Like, when I think about it. It reminds me a lot more of like a Mario 64. Or, yeah, Conker's Bad Fur Day than it does like Spyro or anything like that, which is odd because they came out around the same time, I guess. Weird. Mm-hmm. Weird. Yes, I'm excited for Crash. I can't wait for it to come out. It comes out in... Oh, jeez, it's not far now. We're just about to hit June, guys.
31 days.
Holy fuck. June 2, isn't it?
No, it's like the end of June, I think.
Is it?
June 30.
Yeah,
June 30. What comes out June 2? Oh, Tekken's June 2. Yeah.
No one gives a fuck.
Tekken, give me Tekken 7.
Hey, buddy, have you played Tekken?
Sorry?
Have you played Tekken?
Yeah, of course. Tekken 2, that's my jam. Also Tekken Tag Tournament.
The correct answer is Tekken 3, but I'll let it slide.
Mate. Nah. That's it. There's going to be a Tekken off. Fuck this.
Who's your man? And if you say Huarong, I'll kick your ass.
I'm King, mate. I'm 100% a hardcore wrestler. King's my man.
Really?
Yeah, I'll be throwing down suplexes and DDTs and pile drivers and shit.
Tekken 6 battle
they've got,
tournament set up? Or?
I'm just looking on the EB website, and they've got Tekken Pops coming out, but I see no Huarong.
And I thought I could be even less disinterested.
Do you want to set it up now? The official Buddy versus Jack Tekken 6 match? Or?
I'm going to stream it too.
It's Tekken 7. Jesus Christ, Dylan.
Sorry, 7? Fuck, whatever the new one's called.
Badass statue in the collector's edition. Tell you what.
What's the bet? What are we betting here, guys?
I don't know.
Your Gwent card.
My Gwent card. You know what? That's the one that I'm very disappointed. I never bought those expansion packs with the Gwent cards in
I
them.
have them. They're fantastic.
I'm
disappointed. You know what?
I
They'll
wish you
probably
got
end up
them so
releasing.
It's literally the one fucking collector's edition you haven't bought.
Pretty much, yeah. I nearly bought because I didn't get the first one when it came out. Blood and Wine. No, Hearts and Stone was the first one.
Correct.
And then Blood and Wine came out, and they both had in the physical versions. They both had sets of Gwent cards, and I nearly went and bought the Blood and Wine, and then went to try and like find Hearts of Stone or Hearts and Stones or whatever it was. And I was like, no, I just won't do it. I'll just save the money.
10 out of 10.
For once.
Well, I'm going to wrap up the show unless someone wants to pretend to be Tom for this week and just jump in as I begin to do the fucking... Yeah, so thank you for that. Just shout out to the fucking New Zealander dickhead.
I'll see you soon, Tom.
Fucking dickhead. Thanks for joining us, buddy. You can pimp review culture. Where can everyone find that? And
Yeah, so I do a weekly podcast. We've been doing it for a couple of years now. It's called Review Culture. Basically a weekly podcast about the same kind of stuff we do here: movies, music, TV, and video games. You can find us on iTunes, SoundCloud. You can like us at Facebook, Instagram, and if you want to email us as well, you can do that at thereviewculture@gmail.com. We do a lot of episodes, breakout episodes about movie reviews and stuff like that. So if you like this kind of format, you'll definitely like our format as well. So we get drunk on that quite a few times. So go over and check that stuff out. And I'm sure I'll have to have a few of you boys on there soon as well when I start.
Jack might listen to your podcast if you tell him he can be on it.
It's a great podcast. I love it.
It's okay, Jack. You don't have to lie. If you haven't listened, it's fine.
Where can the people find you, Jack?
You can follow me on Twitter at cruisy_mate. Go check out my journals on YouTube, Cruisy Mate. Prepare for an inundation of Kind of Funny live videos coming in the next week.
So jealous.
Where can the
Cannot
people
wait.
find you, Nicholas? Grumpy
You can follow
man.
me both on Jack's journal and Dylan's vlog. And you can also follow me on Twitter at Lord and Prior, PRIOR.
You can find me on Twitter at Vivaladil, VIVALADIL, and Google that and just subscribe to anything that shows up. You can follow the podcast on Twitter at Explosion Pod. You can head to explosionnetwork.com where you can find other shows, including Pleasure Explosion, Grandstand Gurus, Viewing Gods, and we just started doing racks as well. So there, we're just my dick's in many holes right now, and everyone that doesn't count. And find the YouTube and subscribe. That'd be great. Go to iTunes and leave a review. Give it 5 stars. Give it 4 stars.
What's the YouTube link,
it's up to
Dylan?
you, really. bit.ly/explosion network. I think I need 100 subscribers, please.
Just sub to it, you cunts.
That's the way to get new viewers. Call them cunts. That's the way. Plat, plat.
Subscribe, you cunts.
Wow, that's a tremendous looking trophy.